Welcome back to Extra Shot for a very special, spooky Halloween edition. I am Jack Rivlin. Zach Sweeney Lynch is here as ever.
Hello, Jack.
And we are joined for a rare treat by our spookiest guest. It's Róisín Lanigan.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for letting me into the Politburo.
You kind of are a bit, you're a bit sort of witchy,
Yeah,
aren't you?
I would say.
On the pod today, Vinicius Junior's miserable Ballon d'Or bash, Man United's annual bloodletting, and a Liverpool star with gangbang ambitions. Let's just start briefly. Obviously, Erik ten Hag was sacked on Monday. Zach, it's kind of a ritual every couple of years now at Man United, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like every sort of couple of years they have to drag another manager to this sacrificial altar and, sacrifice them to the gods of Fergie.
Yeah, it's like they had a bad harvest on the field. So someone's going to have to bleed for this.
Midsummer.
Yeah, exactly. Nice pagan shit. It's like spooky, you could say. And I guess they've already got rid of, the dinner ladies and the kit man and the club historian. So the only person left to bloodlet was Erik ten Hag.
Do you think they got rid of everyone else first so they could justify doing him?
But you were the only one.
Yeah, they're like, oh, sorry, we're still in the red.
It was a bit of a first they came for the kit man. Then they got rid of Alex Ferguson 2 weeks ago. They banned him from the dressing room.
Yeah, where was Erik ten Hag speaking out about that?
Yeah.
No one to
Then they
speak
came
for
for me,
Ten Hag.
and that was not. It's kind of true. You think maybe Anthony would have spoken up? Anyway, we're going to do a whole pod on Tuesday, looking back on the Ten Hag era. So I won't get into too many of those funny moments, but it was quite a sort of comic couple of years, so there'll be plenty for that. But currently, at the time of recording, the front runner to replace him is Sporting Lisbon manager Róisín Amorim, who I don't really envy. It's a pretty thankless job.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really understand why he would want to do it. He's being linked with the Man City job as well, which is surely a much more enticing prospect. That's if Pep leaves at the end of the season, but
yeah, I'd hold out for that. Or anything other than Man United. Also, because you go to Man United and just immediately the fans are on your back. There's fucking Gary Neville saying that your culture's rotten before you've even got your foot in the door. It's just no one gives you a chance. Although, however brutal Man United's fans are, their flogging of the team is largely metaphorical. Mm-hmm. Whereas at Sporting, where Amorim took over, there was some literal flogging taking place from the fans. So he took over in Sporting in sort of 2020, and at the time they were still reeling from this nasty incident 18 months earlier when they'd had a couple of bad results and 50 masked ultras stormed the training ground and beat the players with sticks and belts.
Jesus
It's real medieval shit.
Maybe that's what Man United need.
What? A good flogging.
Well, maybe the stakes should be higher.
I think they need the belt.
Sticks or belts.
I'm not picky.
I'm not picky.
It does also kind of fit into their ritual sacrifice. Maybe
Yeah,
that after the sacrifice of Ten Hag has taken place, then the players can be led out and flogged with a cat o' nine tails.
But it is quite Halloween-y today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very spooky. I just can't imagine that happening in Manchester.
What I would say about their training ground is someone needs to cut the grass.
That's their training ground.
Maybe that's why they don't. So up to their waist.
Yeah. You can see how the culture was, Paul. Yeah, I guess it is quite sort of storming the capital. It's vigilante justice. Anyway, it was so nasty that 8 Sporting players decided to rip up their own contracts. One of them was Bruno Fernandes, actually. They then did do a U-turn, and obviously he was later sold. But from those ashes, Róisín Amorim arrived 18 months later and rescued them. So he delivered Sporting's first title in 19 seasons. They did quite well in Europe. Do you remember they beat Arsenal? And, no one's head ended up on a spike being paraded down Lisbon's Avenida Liberdade. So he's probably quite a good candidate for the Man United.
Yeah, I mean, if he saves... What do you think? Do you think they would bring back Fergie? Or is he
What,
done?
in his ambassadorial role?
He's done now.
As manager, or
just in his weird ambassadorial.
Well, he's still going to be at games. He's still got his table before matches where he can invite friends.
But they're just not paying him millions of pounds.
Yeah, no
anymore.
2 million.
He's got to bring his own drinks and
bring his own lunch.
Yeah, bring your own Casillero del Diablo, and he's not allowed in the dressing room after games. I think that was the significant one.
Okay,
but I get how that's a bit.
I can't believe that was happening.
Yeah. I bet he was sticking his oar in as well.
It's a bit like you know, when you work in like a big company and like some days the boss is like, I'm going to sit with you guys.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, this, no one wants this. Everyone feels on edge.
As your former employer, that feels like a dig. Noted.
Loved it when you did it, Jake.
It's about the Christmas party. Yeah, Jake from the Fab. Anyway, all of that was a long-winded way of saying Ruben Amorim, probably part of the appeal for him is that he has rescued a club who seem to be like totally lost and in crisis.
And presumably that there's no risk of him being like terror attacked by people who
he's
are
seen
gonna,
worse.
Yeah, Manchester's going to be...
Maybe that'll be his first step when he gets in. It's like, you know what really worked at Sporting?
Cleansing.
A good flogging. We just... Get on the phone to
this. Attach each of your limbs to a different horse and get them to pull in different directions, and then we'll be cleansed. Eric Ten Hag's ousting isn't the only bit of delicious schadenfreude at a major club this week, is it, Zach?
It's certainly not. So the delicious, malicious pleasure of a self-destructing super club continued when Real Madrid threw their toys out of the pram when Vinny Junior was overlooked for the Ballon d'Or. Rodri won it instead. So yeah, in case you missed it, the Ballon d'Or ceremony was on Monday night.
He was a shoo-in, right?
Everyone was saying Vinicius Junior was going to win it. But before the ceremony, news leaked out that Rodri was going to get the award, which led Real Madrid's entire contingent to boycott the awards.
Oh, I love that. Solidarity.
It's so petty. So they released this pretty pathetic statement that read, "It is clear that the Ballon d'Or UEFA does not respect Real Madrid, and Real Madrid does not go where it is not respected."
And so to clarify, disrespect to them means that he came second.
He came second.
Second.
Also the manager, like Ancelotti, the manager, won Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
It's not really the same though.
I think they got third place as well, didn't they?
I think Bellingham came third as well. It's just like you were not disrespected. Like surely anyone over the age of 10 knows that like throwing a big strop when you don't win a prize is a really bad look.
Yeah.
Even Ronaldo, who's pretty childish, when Messi used to beat him, he would just be quite magnanimous, like smiling and applauding.
Yeah, it's just pretty embarrassing from a
very
club
childish
that like portrays itself as like the most esteemed club in the world. Also, like Rodri's a very worthy winner. Like he won the Premier League with Man City. He won the Euros with Spain. Like he kind of like led that team with pretty young, inexperienced players, and it's like
it's a subjective. It's choosing an individual out of a team game.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking award. Awards are bullshit.
Yeah. That's like aside from all
Wait, so
this.
you guys won one?
No, I'm really anti
We've
awards.
not. We get to win an award, which is perhaps why we have this stuff.
Well, you won't, if you don't act like
I'm not in it for awards, Rush.
You got a manifest.
Not in it for awards.
Yeah.
I am. If anyone wants to give me one.
Best guest. Spookiest guest. Congrats.
Best golf.
But aside from all this, like with the Ballon d'Or, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like it's a team sport. This is an individual award. I don't know. I just don't get the obsession with it. I don't feel like it was such a big thing.
No.
Up until I kind of like the Messi Ronaldo.
When Michael Owen won it, I don't remember Liverpool fans giving a fuck.
Yeah.
I think Messi and Ronaldo have turned it into a bigger thing, and that now because we're post Messi and Ronaldo, it's like, oh, who is it? But like,
I mean, clearly the players do care.
Well, yeah.
Which I mean, you have to feel a little bit sorry for Vinicius. Like he thought that he was going to win it. So according to the Spanish news agency Relevo, Vinny threw a huge party on Sunday night in anticipation of winning the awards. The ceremony was on Monday, but through this party Sunday night. Apparently they were up until dawn. Partying when news leaked out that actually he hadn't won it at all.
Oh, it really kills the vibe.
Someone suddenly gets like a news alert on their phone.
Yeah, just imagine they're like in his kitchen at like 7 a.m. The sun's coming up and like Danny Carvajal's banging on about some like cryptocurrency WhatsApp group, and then just like notification pops up and it's like, shit, everyone's like awkwardly looking at each other. It's like, are you going to tell him or shall I?
I think it's the point of party where everyone's looking at their phones anyway.
Yeah.
It's like
Uber.
that. Yeah, Uber or like Ballon again.
Yeah.
no, ring him again.
Definitely need to ring
Being
him
like, no,
again
this
now.
must be him now. Oh no, you're not winning the Ballon d'Or.
Fabrizio Romano tweeting a spoiler.
Oh, that is harsh.
Apparently, Vinny was so sure that he was going to win that he'd pre-ordered 23 Rolexes to give to his teammates as a thank you for like helping him to win it.
Oh, well, that's why they didn't go, because it's like so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want the Rolex.
Yeah, do you
what's
still
he going
get
to
the
do with
Rolex?
it now?
I think you still get the Rolex if you throw such a strop that you don't go to the party. Then you'll get the Rolex.
Also, he's got it now.
Yeah, he can't give it back.
How do you shift 23 Rolexes otherwise?
Do you win
eBay.
money for the Ballon d'Or?
I don't think so.
Right.
Oh, do you know what? They've probably got contract clauses where they get a bonus from their club
Yeah.
if they do.
Oh
Or,
my
that,
God.
like Adidas will give them like $1 million for it.
Okay, now I understand why he's so annoyed, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he cares about the money. I think he just wanted
He's
to be the best player in the world.
Yeah.
And it's even more embarrassing when you've organised a party.
Why would you do a preemptive party?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
stupid.
very
It's
rogue.
stupid.
I
But
think
it makes
so
it more
weird.
depressing when all of your guests have like awkwardly filed out the door to be like, thanks for tonight, Vinny.
Yeah.
Then you have to go up to your bedroom and there's 23 Rolexes on the
As they're
desk.
leaving, seriously, you are the best player in the world. I really think that. I wasn't just saying that. Also, hadn't he lost 4-0 on Sunday?
Yeah,
to
they lost 4-0
Barcelona?
to
Yeah.
Barcelona. I think that's why they're
Shit
already
day.
in a bit of a strop anyway.
Yeah.
And then Lamine Yamal was going to win the Young Player Award. So
Yeah. On Real Madrid,
humiliated by him again.
aren't they kind of suggesting it's like a conspiracy? As in, they're not just saying like we should be chosen. They called it like the UEFA conspiracy at one point, didn't they?
Why they think that
Yeah,
people hate
they
Real
called it
Madrid.
They called it
what's
Ballon d'Or
the
UEFA.
Ballon d'Or
They said
UEFA.
Ballon d'Or UEFA don't respect us because this is, in fairness, it is the first year that UEFA have been involved. But like, what's the angle there that like UEFA wanted
They're going to try to steal the vote.
Yeah, stop the
Stop
steal.
the steal. They're going to storm the UEFA
Storm the
headquarters in
capital.
Geneva.
I want them to
Just
be like
like-
setting fire to like ballot boxes
Yeah,
like in
yeah.
America. You're like, fuck,
A video
Ballon
of like
d'Or.
the judge in El Salvador and his ballot box is on fire.
They're just like charging into the Etihad with their like coonskin hat on with like horns and a Real Madrid flag around there.
Yeah. I'm guessing that parrot from last week, the Real Madrid supporting parrot, will be livid.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just thinking
Spitting
of
feathers.
This. Yeah, very good.
Plan that gag.
That's cool.
The El Salvador guy didn't put Vinicius in his top 10, and so like all the like Madridista press have just like constantly been playing these clips of him being like, "What? Why? How?" It is a bit weird. I mean, Vinicius is one of the best 10, and to be fair to Real Madrid, the voting for the Ballon d'Or can be a little bit bent at times. So Argentina had to replace their journalist this year because last year's hack, Enrique Wolf, was stripped of his right to vote in the Ballon d'Or panel when the award blazers looked at his choices last year and decided he'd lost all credibility. So last year, the Wolfman had 5 picks and 4 of them were from Argentina. Lionel Messi, who did win it, Lautaro Martinez, Julian Alvarez, and Emi Martinez. So a bit dubious. And yeah, he's been stripped, and Argentina's vote was much fairer. We stopped the steal this year.
Rodri wasn't the only Man City player that was nominated. So Phil Foden, Erling Haaland, and Ruben Diaz were also nominated. So when Man City's HQ received a reverse charge call about their private jet to the ceremony, they probably assumed that there was a problem with the extra seat for the cool box of Erling Haaland's chicken livers. So they were a little surprised to hear Man United's penny-pinching chairman Jim Ratcliffe on the other end of the line. So I think Jim had probably exhausted his options on lastminute.com and he wanted to know whether United's Young Player of the Year nominees Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho could blag a seat on Man City's plane to Paris.
Aw.
It would be quite nice. Unfortunately, Man City said no,
Oh.
which I don't know. I'm not actually sure how they made it in the end. I assume they had to leg it down to Shud Hill interchange to catch the 4:25 bus to Paris via Antwerp.
Yeah, the old Megabus.
Yeah.
I think that's so petty. Sorry, they're going from the same place.
Yeah, but was it full? Although Erling Haaland didn't even go.
Erling Haaland didn't go. Yeah,
it's
so I think they probably could have squeezed on
They
2
definitely
more.
could have.
Do you think they were just like, nah, fuck off. Don't want to give
I mean,
you an advantage.
It's quite a small space. It's like like when you're driving to Glastonbury or something and someone's like, "Oh, can my friend get in the car?" and you're like,
Do you
"Oh,
have a
Ah, but now my journey's shit.
yeah. We have to
Yeah.
make small talk the whole way."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe they would do that.
Do you think when they like get to Paris, they're sort of like, can I leave my bags in your room, sort of thing?
I can't check in until 3.
I'm just picturing Kobbie Mainoo in the queue for upper crust at the Megabus terminal, just like desperately texting Rodri about, is it all right if I sleep in your bath?
Yeah. You've got like your bag of your M&S sandwich and your coffee. I mean, you got a bit too much stuff.
They're definitely not getting a lunchbox for the journey from Jim Ratcliffe, are they?
But actually, one guy who would have happily boarded the Megabus and endured its leaky loo is Trent Alexander-Arnold, because he wasn't even nominated this year for the Ballon d'Or. But he did reveal this week that he would rather win the Ballon d'Or than the World Cup or captain Liverpool or win another Champions League with Liverpool. He said the Ballon d'Or is his #1 career goal.
No. But I also think that like you should be made fun of for saying shit like that. They'd be like, that's all I want. I would say that because I don't like team sports, but when you're an actual footballer, I don't think you can say that shit.
Surely it's not bigger than winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
Surely
I mean,
a
lot of Scousers would say they don't really care about winning honours with England, but like, win another Champions League, captain Liverpool to the title or something.
Surely Scousers would be annoyed about them saying he'd rather win the Ballon d'Or than captain Liverpool.
Yeah.
I guess he has won the Premier League and Champions League with Liverpool. Yeah, so you could say he's ticked those off. But surely, I think Liverpool fans would still be a bit.
In the video, it's quite funny. We'll watch it in a second. But she goes to him, "What about captaining Liverpool?" He goes, "Well, I've done that." Because he once took the armband. I mean, maybe he started again.
10 minutes.
He's just so uninterested in it. It's like, I've done that. It's a bit sad. Like, you think for generations of young kids, like scoring the winner at the World Cup finals, probably the dream, or like captaining your side to the league. And instead he's like, no, I want to slip on a gaudy suit and shake hands with some faceless blazer in an air-conditioned auditorium.
He's English,
it's an award ceremony. Yeah, he's a Scouser.
He's not going to win the World Cup.
Okay, but it's just ultimate fantasy. But we're in the realm of fantasy here.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to. He wants to be in FIFA's Ultimate Team Gold Pack, rated 95 for creativity. And also, to be fair to Trent, this exchange did take place during an extremely inane and patronising game on Sky Sports. I've got a clip of it, but basically the presenter makes Trent choose a sticker of his dream and then stick it in a book.
So there's a few things in here that you probably want to achieve, all of them in your career, but it's the thing that you'd most like to achieve.
Oh my gosh, this is hard.
Let's talk about the Liverpool captaincy. You've always said that's a big dream of yours.
But I've already captained Liverpool, you know. Technically I have already captained Liverpool, so that's something that... I mean, I would want to be Liverpool captain, but it's not my decision, so that can't really be in there.
Okay.
I'd say win a Ballon d'Or.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
sure.
The last one I thought you'd go for.
No, I'd say win a Ballon d'Or.
Okay, talk to me about that. Why have you gone for that one?
Because I believe I can.
Do you know what? It's like watching teachers, try to help kids that can't read very well. And they're like, and just match the pictures based. How is that show?
Yeah, I was playing with my son this morning and when you got to put the shapes in the holes thing, and I was basically just doing it for him, putting it, and then he just hits it. That's basically what we got there. Someone in the Reddit comment said, these games they play with the players always look like they're rehabbing someone with amnesia. Same idea. It's very patronising.
It's so infant. I realise that football players are quite young, but
they're not idiots.
Quite a lot of them are.
You could do better. You could ask Trent so many interesting questions.
I think they've been scarred by when they asked Grealish to point out Birmingham on the map.
Yeah, but that was good.
That's exactly what they want. Yeah. That's why they always get Cole Palmer to do these things, because they know that it's just going to get some ripped stupid reaction from him that they can get a 15-second Instagram clip out of.
It's hard to imagine Liverpool icons past saying that they would rather win the Ballon d'Or than captain Liverpool to a trophy, right? Can't imagine Steven Gerrard or...
I do think it's probably one of the worst teams to say, I give a fuck about the team.
Yeah.
I'd rather win the Ballon d'Or.
They do say that Trent is making eyes at Real Madrid because his contract's up in the summer.
Well, he won't be able to go to the Ballon d'Or if he's not going Real Madrid. There's no point in doing that.
Actually, speaking of Steven Gerrard, he is still plugging away in Saudi at Al Ettifaq, which sort of works in a Saudi or a Scouse accent. Yeah. They are 10th in the league at the time of recording. It's pretty poor. Roche is nodding in approval. I think.
I don't. Surely that's
How many teams are in the league?
15, 20, I don't know. They're mid-table.
Do you think he gives a fuck though? Like where?
Well, clearly not. We were wondering, like, what's he doing to turn the tide? Has he got like the team doing early morning sprints through Daman's Al Hayat Plaza, or is he like working on a forensic plan to deal with Alexander Mitrovic's aerial threat? But actually, it turns out things are a little bit more relaxed for Stevie in the golf. So he revealed last week that he plans his team's entire schedule around Liverpool games, and he routinely pushes training sessions back to 9 or 10 at night so he can watch Liverpool playing on TV.
I kind of rate that. Like he's literally just in it for the money.
Yeah, this is a holiday junket. Yeah. Let's all just have a laugh.
Do you think that Gerrard's just gonna like do whatever his contract is and then be like, okay, see ya, and then come back?
But like, what is his contract? It's like a few years, and Steven Gerrard's one of those guys who like, you put him in a Conkers tournament and he'd be obsessed with winning it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just a competitor.
He'd be there with his steel polka.
King Conker. Or apparently not. Apparently he's just putting his feet up and watching Liverpool play.
I prefer that. I think it would give me the ick if someone really cared about going out to Saudi and like, you know,
what, winning the league.
Yeah,
really.
it's just like, oh, you won the league in Saudi.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of Liverpool players giving you the ick,
what was this going to be?
One of Trent Alexander-Arnold's young teammates is coveting a pretty different accolade to the Ballon d'Or. So you'll both be familiar, I'm sure, with the work of British porn star Bonnie Blue. She's sort of...
I think she's Australian.
No, she's English, isn't she?
No, I'm pretty sure she's Australian.
I'm pretty sure. I've watched... She's like Northern.
She's a 24-year-old, my age, British.
Yeah, Bonnie Blue is a
I feel like
British.
we've spoiled it for you now. The suspension of disbelief. It's not her stepbrother either in real life. He's not a taxi driver in real life. That's not a black guy.
But she wasn't
not licensed.
She wasn't going around to babysit for the.
Yeah, that cab driver has not done the knowledge. I'm pretty sure Bonnie Blue isn't her real name either. But I was going to say, Zach, you'll be familiar with her, but it sounds like you're not familiar with her.
I was thinking of somebody else, clearly.
There are two British porn stars currently posting big numbers. There's Lily Phillips, who slept with 100 guys in one night, which is astonishing numbers.
And then she had the cold sore.
I'm not surprised.
in the video the next day, and she was saying it's not a cold sore. It's just.
Did you see the bit where she's like, one guy brought me a rose, he was so cute. It's like, what sort of guy
It
is...
actually makes me so depressed.
Into that.
Like, it's weird that they're both British.
Yeah, so Bonnie Blue's the other one. So Bonnie Blue, she recently did a marathon tour of UK Freshers Weeks in which she slept with 130 men.
Oh yeah, I saw her get cancelled for this on TikTok.
Who cancelled it?
A doctor.
Right. Good answer.
A doctor who said
real
that
doctor.
it was actually, she was being quite sweet, and she was just like, a lot of these freshers will be virgins, and you could just tell that a lot of people watching it were like, no. She actually went to another school. It was in the summer.
Yeah, take some holiday before I went to uni.
It's a camp.
Apparently a lot of the 130 men were members of uni sports teams,
Oh.
Yeah.
which you'd expect.
What sports teams do you reckon were being represented there? Snow sports, 100%.
Yeah, they're filth, aren't they?
Yeah, snow sports,
Yeah.
Northumbria.
But don't they all just fuck each other, the snow sports lot?
Yeah, snow sports, I'd say, like, you got some real sad rugby boys there.
Yeah.
Because also, I think the appeal of sports teams is you can sort of, like, you can get through 10 in one hit.
It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I don't think
with your
many
mates,
people
like-
from the ultimate frisbee team.
When you're in the trampolining team,
I was
Zach,
in the trampolining
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
do you think many of your
Had a
former
spell.
teammates would be queuing up?
It was almost entirely girls in the trampolining team.
Okay, so
Is that why you joined?
Was that?
Is it like boys
I mean, it
who
was-
do English lit and you're like, come on, you don't like to read.
trampoline boy.
Yeah.
Bonnie was on a podcast recently, the Sinners Pod, where she let slip, in big inverted commas, that a Liverpool star had recently inquired about her services. So we've got a clip of her talking about it.
One thing I have had is a footballing message, and he plays for Liverpool. And he heard about me taking like 22 guys in one night, and he's like, I'm really jealous. And I joked and was like, oh, what, me taking 22 guys in one night? And he said, yes. Anyway, long story short, it turns out he wants me to organise a massive gangbang of guys
Steven
for
Gerrard.
him.
Eyes for him.
Yeah.
Mo Salah, what you on for?
Alright, so we're not going to say who it is, yeah?
Astaghfirullah.
Is he
Yeah, where's he?
currently at Liverpool?
Astaghfirullah.
Yeah.
Seriously? He's not
How
first
old is
team
he?
though, is he?
How old is he?
Bonnie, stop lying.
I'm not actually the messages. He's like,
I know she's not lying.
he's in my sister's age, so like 20, 21.
Wow.
2021.
And he's first team.
He's new.
Yeah.
First team.
You know, people know who that is, right?
Have I already nailed it down?
Yeah, that's very easy.
Really?
What colour is he?
You're a Liverpool fan.
No, I'm not answering that because otherwise it might get too obvious.
Kwanzaa.
No.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm not answering.
Because you're not answering already, no?
It's not worth it.
So one of the hosts there does name Gerrard Kwanzaa.
I didn't hear.
Yeah. But I mean, there are only two 20 to 21-year-olds currently playing in the first team. Harvey Elliott and Gerrard Kwanzaa. Harvey Elliott's currently injured. Obviously, they are pinning it on Kwanzaa, which did lead Zach and I to come up with the newsletter headline of Jar Jar Bonks as our new nickname for Jarrell.
That's good.
Pleased with that. So we'll be using that. But is she just bullshitting?
If someone messaged, sorry, this is a semantics thing, but if someone messaged me and said, like, I saw you shag 20, please don't clip that. I saw you shag 22 guys in one night. I'm really jealous. I would be like, take that as he wanted to shag 22 guys in one night.
I'm jealous of you.
I'd be like, yeah, I guess.
Maybe that's what he meant.
Yeah, and she's just misread it. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll organise a gangbang for you. He thinks he's showing up. And there's 21 other people there that are all
21
like,
freshers.
So what are you doing here?
There's a whole hockey team waiting for you.
We've got marbles here for you.
Do you think she's right? There was a Liverpool player. Like the last few months, probably been a bit of a blur for poor Bonnie.
That's Bonnie.
Yeah, that's Bonnie Blue.
Right.
Do you think it's actually just like it was a member of like the Liverpool uni football team? She's like, yeah, no, it was a Liverpool player.
First team.
It was the Liverpool John Moores like futsal captain.
I would be. So who did it first? Bonnie or the other one?
Bonnie did her Freshers Week tour, including 22 in one night, and then I think I only learned about Lily over the weekend, but she did 103, I think, in a night. Imagine being number 103. Sorry, getting a bit grubby there.
I'm just going to pop in on this. Ben Chilwell was like famously in the DMs of Lily. She went on a podcast and said that he was in the DMs.
Right.
And Lily is also soon planning to do 1,000 men in 24 hours, which like logistically I think is super
I think the numbers on the 1,000 men are you'd have to not sleep in the 24 hours and shag someone a minute 20 each. A minute 20.
Christ.
So sorry to get really rank, but do they have to jizz? Does it count it? Or is it just like...
No, that's a very heteronormative view of sex.
Is it?
That it ends with male ejaculation.
It ends with 1,000 people.
Yeah, that's not...
Okay,
also, imagine how embarrassing it would be if you did finish and nobody else did.
It would be surprised, but like apparently it's really hard to get like actual amateur male porn stars because they panic, like, and they can't perform.
When you just end up jizzing in the queue.
No, they just can't. They're just like
that would be embarrassing.
I think it's the opposite.
Yeah,
it's the opposite problem. It's like they can't get hard.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the vibe in the queue is for that? Is is everyone sort of chatty? Is it like the queue for a new iPhone where everyone's like quite excited, or is it just like a doctor's waiting room where everyone's just like awkwardly like not really making eye contact
Reading
with each other?
Architecture magazine. I think if your numbers 1 through 10, probably spirits are quite high, but at the back of the queue, it's got to be a bit depressing. Sorry, turning to Liz's second point about Ben Chilwell, I heard that as well, that Lily Phillips had Chilwell in her DMs, but a lot of these sort of football adjacent porn stars will claim that footballers have been in their DMs.
Football adjacent.
It's quite an easy way to get mentioned on a podcast.
So did you see the news this week that Oasis are clamping down on ticket touts? So they've cancelled 50,000 tickets for their shows that were like resold on these ticket touting
I think
sites,
they're bluffing. But
Yeah, I don't think that's...
Yeah,
I don't think it's possible.
Also, it's a bit rich considering they absolutely fucking rinsed their fans like 2 months ago. Actually, it turns out that the Gallaghers are no strangers to daylight robbery. So I heard this story that apparently when they were teenagers, they worked at the Man United and Man City training grounds cleaning players' cars and managers as well. They used to clean Fergie's car. And Brian McClare, the former Man United captain, says that he remembers giving them penguin bars as a thank you. Which, they were probably hoping for a bit more than a penguin bar.
Couple of quid.
Covered in like suds and freezing cold car park. But apparently they admitted to him years later that they were actually stealing from the Man United players' cars, like stealing cash from the glove box, and they robbed like Mark Hughes, Brian Robson, Steve Bruce. Apparently they were stealing more than they were getting paid. Which, considering they're getting paid a peg.
It's
Took a
not
whole
hard.
multi-sack once.
Taking wagon wheels from like glove boxes. There's ones with jam in them. Like they're really good ones.
There's a tin of Fisherman's Friends in Steve Bruce's car that pilfered. Yeah, this is a nice little story. I thought let's end with something Halloween-y. Unfortunately, I can't find the name of the listener who sent this in. Someone sent it on Insta. But a nice spooky story. Obviously, we did a baseball episode recently. In the 1910s in Wyoming, there was a baseball team made up of death row inmates who were told that for every game they win, their execution would be moved backwards.
No.
And they're basically told, we won't kill you as long as you keep winning.
Oh my God.
So they were called the Wyoming State Penitentiary All-Stars.
Jesus.
Can you imagine the pressure?
That's like their Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Not being given lethal injection.
Ballon d'Or. Ballon d'Or.
Electric chair! As the ball's coming to you. But also, if you fuck up, like drop a catch, your whole team are getting killed. It's quite a lot of pressure.
I think you want like a psychopath on your team that's like has no remorse and wants to bring the team down.
They did have psychopaths. They had like some grim crimes, but also some of them were just like a cattle rustler.
Oh God!
So actually, a really grisly detail about the cattle rustler. Do you want to know this? It's very grisly.
Is it worse than the gangbang?
Yeah, it's different kind. So there's a book about these guys called Death Row All Stars that looks good. Anyway, there also tells the story of a highwayman and cattle rustler called Big Nose George, who was eventually executed, and the governor of Wyoming wore shoes made from his skin.
Oh my God.
How fucking grim is that?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Was that because he was rustling cattle to make leather or something?
Yeah,
So
maybe
this was sort of his comeuppance.
biblical justice.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But that is fucking mental.
In the 1910s,
Yeah,
it's not
makes-
even that long ago.
So apparently the baseball team was mainly a gambling thing, actually, that like the whole town wanted something to gamble on. So they were like, oh, let's get all the convicts together.
Who did they play against?
I think other
it like
prisoners. Oh no, there was one game where they played the junior team of another baseball side.
Scarred for life.
Get the kids in. Just don't stand too near him.
Oh my God. So if you did they ever let anyone off, or like if you're really really good?
No, eventually, I actually don't think they ever lost. They only played 4 matches. Eventually, they just executed them all. I'm not exactly sure why. Oh, gambling got banned in the town.
Oh, right.
And so
Oh, yeah,
everyone was like, what's the point? They've served their purpose.
That's so grim. But people used to go and watch executions back then. I think you can still watch executions, but like
I was listening, the rest is history did a thing on the French Revolution recently.
I haven't
The
listened.
last person to be guillotined in public in France was in 1939. And the last person to be guillotined in private, 1970s.
What?
They
In France?
guillotined, yeah.
1970.
Yeah. Because the guillotine was seen as a more humane
I
way
was
of
just thinking
yeah.
that. I think it's probably
Maybe it is.
better.
We think of it as really like bloody and grim, but actually in France it was seen as this like enlightened.
Yeah.
They were given options, either get rid of the death penalty or use a more humane method. So they started guillotining them.
So they just, when they got rid of the guillotine, they got rid of the death penalty?
Don't know, but they were fucking guillotining a bloke.
Yeah, if we're not going to guillotine, it's not
They
worth doing it
guillotined
at
this
all.
guy 4 months after Star Wars came out. How mental is that? We like macabre, don't
Yeah,
we?
spooky.
Prefer that to the sort of
To the
gangbangs.
gangbangs, yeah.
Sorry. Well, we had both on this pod, so I hope you
Thanks,
enjoyed
guys.
it. Thanks, Roche. Zach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, for producing and starring.
Thank you.
And thanks a lot for listening.